Okay, I'm back working on the generator today. It's a little bit warm out, it's not too bad. I am just trying to find my aluminum brazing rods. HTS 2000 is what I use. It's freaking crazy stuff. I bought it about half a year ago, and I'm just trying to find out where I left it. Because I actually went in, and this manifold is discontinued. And I looked at a couple used ones, but this one here sits on a bit of an angle. I'm not sure if you can see that. This side's a little bit higher. So the couple different ones that I was looking at trading it for, I just couldn't find. Or buying used, I mean. So it's just such a little gap. I know I could get away with just JB Weld or epoxy, but I'm still going to try searching for the proper shit. You can see it's just such a little tiny gap there. So I'll file it down with a Dremel, fill it in, but first I gotta find that stuff. And I know it's somewhere in that mess. Where in the mess? Well, probably one of those bins up top. So, start the camera again once I find it. I already looked for about half an hour and had no luck. So, sweet. Okay, so seeing this has already been TIG welded or MIG welded at one time. I know it's not really focusing very well. And the only problem is that it's just lightly leaking out of the corner. You can see right here if I hold it sideways. It's a fingernail thickness. So all I got to do is fill in that crack. This side they welded right to the end. You can see it's the same height. And I'm going to just push in some JB Weld into the crack. And I'm just using the standard original JB Weld, not the new stuff. The new stuff is just quick set, and this stuff here takes a while. So I'm just going to mix up some JB Weld and do that. I do have some, what's it called, those aluminum brazing rods, HST or THS or something 2000 rods. I got a whole pack of them somewhere in this mess here, but I haven't been able to find them where I would use that. But whatever, JB Weld's going to hold. Again, it's already welded on the outside, so all I'm doing is filling in the crack. So I'll do that. I'll pop it back on the generator and give it a try. Okay, it's done. Did a little bit of smoothing inside here. I could have ground it right down because it's not really needed. I just wanted to fill in the crack. I have used JB Weld on an intake before. My old XR 75 had a cracked intake, and I JB Welded it. It actually cracked right off, and it lasted years and years until I sold the bike, and who knows if it's still lasting. But in this case here, all I was doing is filling the crack that they never welded. So you can see right there, it's all filled in nicely, nice and smooth. Of course, that's all been TIG welded, or actually that looks like it's just aluminum MIG. So of course I gave it a quick clean out, quickly. So now I just got to clean up this. You can see that's just oil sitting on there. So I got to clean off the old gasket, everything, and the spider webs. I can't really see it, but the spider web going across here. And I'll mount this back on and give it a try. So I'm not going to videotape the reassembly. I am going to drain out that old skunky gas, because that's one thing that needs to be done. So I'm going to drain out that gas and check the oil. I'm actually probably going to do an oil change on it. Might as well, seeing I'm here. And yeah, I'll videotape the first start. The thicker one is the one that goes onto your block. It fits pretty decent. This one here, of course, the thin one that goes in between your curb doesn't fit whatsoever. The holes don't even come close to lining up. Well, whatever. It's somewhat the right size. And then this one, if I used it here, of course, wouldn't line up either. So, and they never had a gasket in between here before, between the curb and the manifold, so that could be why they never had a gasket. This is what they had on the engine. It's just two gaskets stuck together. One's a homemade, one's original. And you can see they're sealed together. I know it's probably not focusing very well, and it's super hot in here, so I got the fan going. It's plus 33 outside, so yeah, it's getting up there. So yeah, whatever. I have to use the thick gasket. And this one here, I'll just have to drill the holes, or cut the holes a little bit smaller. It'll work. It's just, of course, not really the best size. kind of overhangs a lot. It's whatever. Kind of see there, it's going to overhang quite a bit to make it fit proper, but whatever. Doesn't matter. It'll work. It's going to seal proper. I know this one here, I could have just made it out of, gasket paper. It's the big thick one here that I couldn't make. They screwed me and charged me like $5 a piece for them when they should only have been like $1.50, you'd think. But whatever, I had to buy them. I didn't want to look for my thin gasket paper, or thick gasket paper. Thick like this one here, that's I guess 1 mil and a half, where this one here is just like paper thin. So anyway, time for the fun part. And yes, I am going to use gasket tack in between it, so that way it, holds it a bit better, especially on the side here where the crack is filled. So, okay, fuel line's hooked up. It is still dripping, so that needle and seat might need to be changed. So, or it flooded. Yeah, she is flooded. But she fired, that's a good sign. And don't worry about the red, that's just gasket stuff. Sprayed on the intake manifolds. Got a little bit inside. Okay, let's try something. Oh, nothing left of those rubber bushings there. I can tell that much. And I got just kill switch danglers. Okay, she is running rich because she is still leaking a bit. I'll have to probably play with the carb a bit. The settings are all out of whack. I did give it a shot of Start You Bastard. So let's try one more time. I know it's running rich. One more time. Once I get it warm, I'll adjust it. I need to get it to stay running before I can, adjust it. Oh, is she running rough, eh? Okay. Turn that in, that's about one full turn in. Got to get that carb to stop leaking. That's better. I killed it there, of course. That's better. I'm going to bring it outside now. As you can see, it was bouncing off the governor pretty good there, so going to have to do some tweaks. And yeah, it's full of oil because, I fogged it after I washed it. But you can see there, it ran not too bad. So have to play with it a bit, but it's just vibrating the crap out of this ground, so I'm going to bring it outside. So give me a few seconds. It looks like it's not leaking anymore, so it's flooding the crap out of itself. So, okay. Of course, I just played with the jet on the bottom there, and that's idle air. So I'll bring it outside and I'll see what I can do. Seems like where I'm going to leave it. I'll have to put a load on it. There's some dirty ass fuses. Those will have to be cleaned up, of course. So don't know how those lock in. I guess just like that. This is a different style. So recoil's loose, as you can tell there. So I'm going to be still pulling off the recoil and making sure there's nothing stuck in it, because believe it or not, when I started it, bunch of looks like goose feathers came flying out of it. So about at least 10 of those feathers just went flying out of the generators and out of the engine. So let's see if it's going to start back up easy enough. Okay. Well, until I find something that can put a pretty heavy load on it, like a couple heaters, that's where I'm going to leave it. It also needs a gas cap. It's cracked and seals pretty well rotten on it, so. Oh, that makes a lot of heat. Holy. Put a load on it. Oh, there we go. Well, everything seems to be great on it. I can power that 1500 watt heater in the grinder, so I know it could do a hell of a lot more, but whatever. You see, it works. That's the end of this. Okay, just running her out of gas. There we go, she is out. There we go, just ran her out of gas. It ran for about a minute. Sweet. Well, anyway, anyone local interested in buying a generator? So far I'm into it for about 150, give or take. Probably be another 15 bucks for a gas cap, another $15-20 for the air filter and pre-filter I'm going to put on. And of course I'm going to pull off the recoil, kill switch. I'll probably be into it for 100, probably just under 200 by the time I buy the fuse holder and everything. So anyone's interested, I'm going to sell it for pretty much what I'm into it for. So I'll be selling it for around 200 bucks. Not going to try to make any money off it. I just do it for the fun more than anything. So yeah, 200 bucks, which is for an 8 horse. So what this is a pretty decent price. So I know I probably could easily get 250 for it, but whatever. Sweet. Okay, back somewhat in the storage behind the door of the garage. So what I got to do now is change the oil. Yes, I'm still too lazy to change the oil. Add a kill switch, gas cap lid, try to find the 240 volt fuse holder. I also got to put a multimeter on it, make sure I'm making the proper voltage, adjust the speed here as necessary. Seems like it might be running a little bit high, kind of hard to say. And yeah, tighten up the recoil, but first I'm going to take off the fan shroud on it. Of course, make sure there's no sticks or anything shoved in, because like I said, when I started it up, a bunch of feathers flew out of it. So, and I had a pretty good airflow at the back here, so I'm sure, you know, there's nothing plugged in it. But of course, I got to check. I don't want a chance of burning up or anything like that. So now this is going to sit for a while until I get the other parts it needs, which is just little tiny things, so I probably won't bother making any update videos on it. Maybe I'll toss it into one of my other videos. So now I'm working on a mini version of this. So this is an 8 horse. I'm working on a micro generator project kind of thing, which is going to be using a 2 horse Briggs and Stratton from about 1960s. And I'm going to be going to a 35 amp alternator. Yes, a very small alternator. So it's going to actually, and I'm going to actually build kind of a frame for it and everything. So it should be almost half the size of this one. So yes, it's going to be a 12 volt generator. It's not going to be a 120 volt, but I'll kind of throw that together as I'm going along. Instead of using the 2 horsepower, just give me a second here. instead of using a 2 horsepower, you know, 4-stroke, I was actually even thinking I could use the engine out of this one here, which is a 3 horsepower 2-stroke. So, and this machine here hasn't ran in a long time, so I'm just kind of tempted to find out here. I give it one extra try. I'm not going to bang my arm on anything. Oh, recoil rope's pretty bad. Oh, it's not going to start. Nope, not going to start, so whatever. Probably would if I put gas in it. I know it's pretty much on empty. So, anyway, and that's the other 8 horse. Still need to do some stuff on this. I need to weld the bracket for the clutch cover and put it back together. Right now the fenders are just sitting on it light, loose, and yeah, that will probably be next week's video. I'll finish that up and whatever. Of course I gotta finish cleaning up the mess here.